Fraud! Fraud! Fraud!
I'm going to give away. Okay, here. Remind me to give away way too much information.
Please
for
do.
A state employee.
That's what we want.
But
Please do.
I'm employed by the state in 2 different segments, and I'll let you know what one of those is momentarily.
Okay.
Let me first get out of the way that I didn't vote for either one. I wouldn't vote for either one. I wouldn't vote against either one. I wouldn't vote for either one. I wouldn't recommend to anybody that they vote for either one. I do remember from when I was 12 or 13 years old that Joe Biden was de facto disqualified as a presidential candidate because he was found to be a plagiarist. So that's just one of however many reasons why I would... Now, to go back to what I was saying, I am an employee of the Board of Elections every now and again. I find it's fun to... I'm a performance artist, so I find as a social experiment, 3 or 4 days a year, when there's something going on at the polls, I work the polls. And that's my civic duty, and that's my contribution. So I let other people do as they will with their vote. I help them as much as I can, but I get it out of the way helping them, and then 16 hours I'm there, and I don't cast a vote once.
What did you see? Did you see any crazy shit going on during the actual voting process, like people arguing in line or anything? I mean, like any of that craziness?
It's remarkable how if I were corrupt and if I were somebody other than me, how I probably could, in theory, vote 3 or 4 times. Because people come to get help from you, and you know some of these people, they're just happy to be voting, so they can't speak English, they can't read the ballot. Hey, you look honest. Who should I vote for? And so yeah, that's an interesting. But the system's got a ton of checks and balances, and it works as well as it possibly can. It's never going to be 100%. It's never going to be flawless. That's not my way of trying to talk myself out of work in the next election. It's just, it's the nature of the beast. It's, to think that 150 million votes are going to get cast and it's going to have a margin of error of 0.000% is, it's ridiculous.
So in some degrees, it's always probably been flawed somewhat.
Well, what's not flawed?
Right. Yeah. Bingo.
Not the vaccine they're giving out.
Oh, no, it's perfect. Hurry up. Take it yesterday.
Unless it's Delta. If it's Delta, then the current vaccine's flawed.
Yeah, there you go.
But we knew that, right? Because these are variants. So
let's switch gears. Unfortunately, New Jack has left us, and he was one of my favorite guests on the show. We've had him on several times. Of course, his departure... to me was a shock. I don't know why, but to me I was very, very shocked. Do you have some memories for us?
Yeah. Oh God, New Jack was my food buddy, and we would, when we were on the road, if we weren't eating together, maybe he would go to a certain spot before the show, like for a late lunch, whatever, and he'd bring back food for me. He would tell me about places to try. We got along great. But the memory that stands out is he did an indie show in Brooklyn 2 or 3 years ago, not far from where my grandmother lived. But my grandmother at the time was in a nursing home or in rehab. And I think at this point she was probably in hospice care already. And so New Jack worked the show. I was there. It wasn't too far from where I lived. And I popped in, said hey, and we went out to dinner at a sushi place later that night. And the sushi place is right by my grandmother's house, which she hadn't been in a year or two because she'd been in the hospital, rehab, hospice. So after we ate, I asked Jack, I was like, Jack, if you wouldn't mind, if it's cool, can I take a picture of you outside this sushi place? And the intention was I was going to show it to my grandmother to get a pop out of her, because every other time she's seen an image of New Jack is when it was on TNN and him jumping off the balcony and putting me through a table. So I take the picture, I show it to her, and she smiles and she laughs because it's like worlds colliding. What was this guy that I've seen on national television doing a block from my home where you and I go to eat sushi all the time? So she smiled and she laughed, and she passed away 3 weeks after that. And it was pretty much the last time maybe that that I ever got, a smile and a laugh out of her. So I've got the picture of New Jack outside the sushi place. I've got it in the camera roll on my phone. And God, man, he was just he was real people, you know what I mean? He was he lived his worldview, and he was who he was, and he was unapologetic. And if you were somebody that he didn't like, then you wouldn't have liked him, because if he didn't like you, he wasn't going to sugarcoat it and put a filter and that kind of thing. But if you were like family to him, if you were somebody who he allowed into his like inner circle, then you couldn't have a more loyal friend in the world.
What would you describe his legacy as? Do you believe that he's in the penthouse of the greatest of the great hardcore wrestlers? Because to me, he's a measuring stick.
Yeah, I think so. I think the number of times he's been emulated by students at wrestling schools who are taking bookings and doing their own first hardcore matches and just up and down the independent circuit, like no matter where you are in the country, no matter where you are really in the world, I think there are so many people trying to be what New Jack was, just kind of have that same flavor, that same kind of spirit or vibe. And he really was one of a kind. He really was. I mean, the same way Brody was one of a kind.
Sure.
Is, there might be people in the decades to follow that remind you of New Jack, but they're not gonna be exactly who or what he was, because you can't cast a New Jack. You know what I mean?
Thoughts on Nick Gage?
I think his career is exploding. Right? I mean, what if Nostradamus would have put in chapter 1147 that Nick Gage would be a Domino's Pizza spokesman, and we'd all have a nice laugh over that. But I mean, in a way, that's kind of what happened on Twitter this week, right? I mean, kudos to him. Also very real, also salt of the earth, also, I don't know him personally, I haven't met him, but I like what I see, you know what I mean? In the sense that he is true to who he is,
right?
And I think he's also probably going to spawn a lot of imitators, especially now that he's proven that he's gone from what people thought was just kind of niche, and he's now taken it to the mainstream because of how not mainstream he is.
Right.
He's almost like, you'd never expect him to succeed.
Right.
So it's almost like, in a certain way, he's succeeding in spite of what or who he is. And I think there's a certain glory in that you can't get by just succeeding if you were meant to be and lined up to be a success.
Joel, let's break into one of my, they probably really are my favorite tag team outside of Demolition, the amazing Dudley Boys. Tell me about your experiences working with the great Dudley Boys.
Yeah, it was just an amazing time, because all of us in ECW, it was like our first big break, and we all hadn't been anywhere else yet. And so it was just special, the family vibe, it was just special. And with the Dudleys, with however many there were, and for how long it lasted, it was almost the closest thing we had to the NWO. It was a tag team that was kind of like a faction or a stable, and it was, whether we had the belts or whether we were chasing for the belts, it's something that lasted a good 2 years, probably closer to 3 years. and it was a blast to work with them, and they were both so devoted and disciplined and dedicated, and all of us were just looking to advance our careers and also do what we could for the advancement of ECW itself. And just a really, really special time. And the dynamic was interesting working with the Dudleys, because it's kind of a good cop, bad cop kind of thing. Mm-hmm. You know, with Devon kind of being the good cop. And as you can, and
so let me ask you, what kind of relationship did you have with Bubba Ray Dudley, right, or Bully Ray, whatever, right? So we're kind of in competition with them, right? We're all looking for that same audience. And
he's got a show? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, go on.
But look.
Go on.
As an outsider looking in, this guy always seems like he thinks he knows everything, and he's always trying to put himself over. Like, was he like that with you? I mean, what was that all about?
There was one. No, he wasn't, because, and I wasn't. I was. Look, we were all young. We were all like in our 20s.
Oh yeah.
But I was like early to mid. Like I was. We were all babies, and I was like the little runt baby.
Of the
like
group?
Were
you?
Yeah.
Wow,
Like
okay.
Roadkill eventually would be younger than me when he came in.
Okay.
And Juventud Guerrera, who was in for a few months with the Lucha guys. Mm-hmm. I want to say he is a number of weeks younger than me, like a couple of months younger than me. But by and large, I started 3 days after my 20th birthday. So I was age 20 to age 25. But Bubba, so when you ask, was Bubba that way with me? No, because even though it was not in my character to speak up necessarily, there was one instance where I kind of nipped in the bud, where, you know, if I would have heard it from Paul, it would have been gospel, because he pays the bills and he gave me my shot.
Right.
But I didn't hear it from Paul. I heard it from Bubba, who suggested to me that maybe I should, and if it's done the right way, I'm all for getting heat. Like so there was one time where Paul pulled me aside. I think he saw that I was acting a little bit too tweenerish. Maybe I slapped somebody's hand. I did something that was this pre-TNN. So I was with the Dudleys in the meat and the heart of the heat of trying to incite riots and all that, and get the Dudleys the Dudley heat. And Paul, when I came to the back after working, Paul said, "You're worth $1 million to me as a heel. Right now, you are worth nothing to me as a babyface." And I understood what that meant, and it was wise, and it meant a lot, and I put it in my back pocket, and it meant something, and I learned from it. Bubba one night said, maybe you should, because people were starting to get off on the Gertnerisms, and the Gertnerisms were starting to get longer, right? Another line here, another verse there.
They were great, though.
And Bubba was like, how about maybe you should go out there and be like, well, it is I, Joel, you suck, Gertner. Or Joel, I rock. Like, it was, like, in other words, sabotage my own moneymaker,
right,
and intentionally, you know what I mean? Like,
so he sees you taking off and he wants to neuter your gimmick. That's what it feels like. I'm not asking you to say that, but that's how it feels to me. What the hell's that?
Well,
seems in line.
You know,
well, Bubba.
You know what? Ugh. Done similarly but different.
Okay.
It could have worked.
Okay.
But the way he recommended it, I felt did not work.
Right.
So I kind of, to show him how I thought it wasn't appropriate, I said, Bubba, wouldn't this, so you're a wrestler, right? I'm the talker, but you're the wrestler.
Right.
Wouldn't this be akin to, you go out, after I've done that, now you're out there 3 minutes in, and you're working the match, and because all these people paid their ticket money to see you wrestle as well as you can and try to win the match, you throw a drop kick to somebody's shins.
Sure.
Right. And that kind of nipped it in the bud.
Right.
And from that point forward, Bubba wasn't quite that way.
So he was cool with that analogy coming from you.
He
Very
understood it,
interesting.
I think.
All
Yeah.
right.
Honestly,
All right, that's cool.
honestly, personally, again, not a big fan of him to begin
Right.
with. So anyway,
Right.
John Lewis is.
Talking about mob movies. That's what I'm talking about, like The Sopranos. I love The Sopranos. With Paulie. But I got to ask you, how'd you get hooked up with mob wives?
Okay, so after my son's father, I started dating somebody that I used to talk to years prior.
Okay.
He actually was in jail for 4 years, but he like kept in touch with me, and then when he got out, I guess he was still trying to pursue me. And then he just, right place, right timing. And my son's father wasn't that easy to deal with, so he kept pushing me into a corner in search for, like, I guess, safety in some sense.
Okay.
So like every man I date is very aggressive and intense and tough, and like, of course I liked the man that I was with at that moment, but I also felt safe because he was like protecting me from him. So with that said, I was with him. I got very close with his cousin's wife. We hung out all the time, and she was very close she grew up with the girls on the show, with the girl who created the show, and we were going for a walk one day, and she was just like, you know, what show you would be great on? And I was like, what, Mob Wives? And she's like, yep. And as she's saying it, she's messaging the creator, like, I got someone perfect for you. And then right away...
Who's this, Karen?
No. The creator's actually Jen,
Okay.
Renee's sister.
Gotcha.
And Jen was like, who, Marissa? So she was like, yeah. So she's like, all right, let's set up a meeting and we'll go from there. So we set up a meeting, I want to say like a few days later, if that. They were like, okay, you're going to start filming next week. I guess they were trying to try me out. My first scene was with Karen and Renee. And I just hit it off and just, you know, I'm very comfortable in my surroundings.
So you actually didn't know them then?
No, not at all.
Not at
But I'm
all,
also
okay.
not a timid girl. So when I sat down, the way I'm talking to you guys is the same way I was speaking to them. And I think they were just like, all right, we're filming in oh my God, where am I blanking? Where's everyone go? Oh, in the Hamptons.
Okay.
We're filming in the Hamptons next week. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I went, and next thing you know, I just started filming the show.
So at that point, though, you're doing modeling already, right?
Yes, I was already modeling.
So did you already have an agent and a lawyer? Like when that call gets made, you have to go run and get a lawyer to
I had an
negotiate
entertainment
for
lawyer
you?
already on hand.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, good.
So even though you already know, like when you do these shows, you know, the stipulations, the things you can't do, blah, 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 but like the show didn't make me. I've already been dabbling in this industry.
Yeah, right.
You know, so there was we went back and forth for a long time with that paperwork because it was like, you're not going to stop me from doing this or modeling that or making money here because I've already been making that money. So there were times even during filming that there was 1 week actually where I didn't film with them because I was working and doing other things. For the most part, most girls wouldn't have been able to do that.
What was your gut read when you're taking that walk and she goes, you know what show you would be good on? Like, did you get a little butterfly or something to like indicate, I think something might have changed for me just now?
No, because I just kind of knew like it was meant.
Right.
You know, and it just happened. Totally a believer in destiny. So like, I don't know. I always said it, even though not saying I wasn't a fan of the show. I just never watched the show. I really wasn't much into reality because I'm super busy. I'm always out doing something. I'm always on some casting or making money, and I was never really glued into reality when reality was really huge. But I always said in the back of my mind, I was like, I would be perfect on that show. So me. And it happened. So.
And there it is.
It was a perfect match.
He gives me these questions, and it's just so embarrassing. Okay, clearly you are a beautiful, intelligent woman. That's what it says for me to say right here, even though it's the truth, but it still feels weird. What does Marissa Jade look for in a man?
Authenticity, strength, loyalty, passion, and consistency.
Wow. Well, that
But
eliminates me.
they don't have
Just
to.
kidding.
How about looks wise? What do they have to look like? Looks.
I guess looks. It's not that you have. It's what you're attracted to. You know, I can't say. Maybe maybe I do have a type, but sometimes my type is not always the same, but they have the same strength. That's where I go with strength and consistency.
Right.
You know, if you're comfortable in your skin, if you have this pizzazz and charisma, if you have this confidence about you,
Right.
like a very alpha male.
How about physical
attracted
attraction?
to.
Though? Like, is physical attraction the first thing that you look for? Is it when you
Yeah,
look at personality?
naturally you're going to gravitate towards what you're attracted to.
Right.
But I've been attracted to green eyes. I've been attracted to blue eyes. I've been attracted to brown eyes.
Right.
I've been attracted to 6-foot, exotic looking men. I've been attracted to 5'10" bodybuilder, Hulk looking men.
Right.
At the end of the day, though, what they all have in common is strength and this alpha way about them.
But you're an alpha,
I'm very much an alpha, but I want my man to be more.
so you want an alpha man. Then
Of
you
course.
wouldn't want a
Listen,
a
at the
guy
end
that
of the day, and
Yeah.
I will say this as a strong, independent woman, a woman should be able to look up to a man, be comfortable with her man, be able to be protected by her man. And women should let men be men. Okay?
Wow.
And I'm
gonna
sorry,
faint.
like I want
You're right.
it's true. Like, why are we trying to take their roles? We don't need to take their roles. We have roles, and
So
men have roles.
How does
I
that?
grew up in a household where my father told my mother, "You don't work. I take care of you."
Right.
And I believe like men should open doors. Men should pay bills. Not saying, listen, I'll pick up a tab, but I'll pick up a tab for your birthday, or I'll buy us a flight and take you on a vacation, or I'm amazing with gifts, But other than that, a man's supposed to play a man and a woman's supposed to play a woman. I don't think it's wrong if a woman took care of her man, or cooked for her man, or did his laundry, or gave him like a back rub if he asked. But I also believe a man should take care of a woman in some sense too.
So let me ask you this then, right? You're an actor. We all know about Harvey Weinstein, right? I'm trying to say this correctly.
Oh, just
but
say it. She can handle
Say
it.
it correctly, because I'm pretty sure my answer is not going to be loved by everybody.
So
proceed.
here's a guy who took his position of power, who wanted to be with beautiful women, and he didn't rape them. Let's make that
I
clear.
agree with it.
All right.
I agree with
And
it.
he basically said, "Hey, you want to make it? You got to make it." That's like an alpha male.
Listen,
What are your thoughts on that?
Harvey is an alpha male, and I'm going to say something that most people might not like, but I don't give a shit.
Good.
Because at the end, and I've been propositioned, we've all been propositioned.
I'm sure you've been
In some
propositioned a
sense,
million times.
Listen, I'm pretty sure men maybe do more with women but don't act like women are innocent, because there are women who take
Yes.
their power and
Absolutely.
do the same.
Yeah.
But with
Oh, yeah.
that said, if someone really was hurt in a situation, I feel for them. I have compassion for the situation, but you should have said something. I don't believe half the stories that I've heard. These women were in such die-hard positions that they couldn't fend for themselves or speak up about it or get some listen, all you had to do was say no. But what you chose to do was take the bait so you can get further. So if you did that
Right.
knowing that you were gaining
Right.
something, you weren't being abused. You were okay with the situation. So don't come out 20 years later for your 15 seconds trying to act like what happened to you was detrimental, because you put yourself in that position. Now, if you were held down, like I've had people try to really aggressively take me.
Yes.
And in that instance, I fought back.
Right.
And I'm
Which
fine.
is-
And I never cried about it. I
Right.
never called the cops on it. I never went to,
Well, you're a strong woman, right? Look, me personally, I would say that a man should never physically try to
100%.
make away with
And
any
even then,
woman
that
or
didn't-
another, right? But to proposition a woman, and I'm not defending Harvey Weinstein, right? Because he kind of did.
Yes, I'm not
his,
either.
Right.
Listen, at the end
he
of the
did
day,
use his power to like say, "Hey,
he
you're either
abused the
gonna
privilege.
do it with me or you're going nowhere," and that's
abused the
kind of.
privilege. But
fucked
these
up.
women could have had some morale and said, you know what? I'm not going to take the bait.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm going to walk away.
Right.
I'm not going to sell my soul to the devil.
Right.
You know? So you chose what you chose to do. Don't cry about it like you didn't have a choice.
So going to your second half, like the second half men you've had, and like something like that would happen to you, did you dare ever tell them?
In certain instances, I was single at those times.
Okay. Which is probably better, right?
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I've reached out to like a couple of my guy friends, like, yo, like, what do you want to do? You going to go beat him the fuck up, you know?
Right.
But other than that, I mean, yeah.
So back to Mob Wives, Big Ange, you didn't know her, right? But you eventually got to know her.
Yeah,
I'm
I got
assuming.
to know her well on the show.
How did you handle her passing?
Her? Listen, anybody passing, especially in that way, is unfortunate. I felt horrible. In fact, I remember, you know, she went into remission. Everything was fine. And she was great. And then all of a sudden, it came back with a vengeance. And I remember texting her, like, you know what? Like, anything you need, I'm here for you. And she was like, you know, thank you, love you, miss you, whatever. And then next thing you know, it happened. It was just horrible. Anybody going through that, it's horrible. I don't like death, but I understand it.
Did she go fast, or was it?
I think she did. Yeah. When it came back, it was fast.
Did you go to her funeral?
Yes, I did. I did. It is. It's sad.
Wow.
God bless her.
Wrestling fans, now you too can look as cool as Monty and the Pharaoh by wearing the official Monty and the Pharaoh sunglasses at night for $8.99 each. That's only $8.99 each. Now available at montyandthepharaoh.com.
Sexual harassment thing with Cuomo, right? You actually had a sexual harassment in 1994 with WCW. You put a lawsuit against them. Can you tell us out there what actually happened and what
actually happened with me?
Yes.
Oh, well, I jumped in the ring during a match and my boobie fell out, and they got a picture of it, and the photographer, when we went up to the studios to take new promo pictures, he had a big picture of it on the wall, and it was of my boobie out. And so I was like, oh my God. So I took it off the wall, I crunched it up, I threw it away in the trash can, and I said, no, I'm going to keep this. So I got it out, and I kept it, and I went to Eric Bischoff, and I told Eric, I said, I want an apology, and I want the negative, and I want this to go away. And he wouldn't do anything about it. And then Eric Bischoff was a pervert to me many, many times. And wrestling was more of a, women didn't have much say in the business when I was started in it, and women weren't even supposed to be in it when I started in it, really. Like, a lot of the old timers didn't think women should be in it, but and we just got treated kind of like dirt. And
now, you were a wrestling
stuff said
fan
to
growing
me.
up. I mean, I read your book, and by the way, Missy Hyatt,
you got it.
right? I love this book.
Thank
First Lady
you.
of Wrestling. You could get it on Amazon, and it's really a great read. In
well,
fact,
you
we
can
were
get
on the beach
you can
together
get it
reading.
signed tomorrow night, because I'm doing the Captain's Corner, and I'm going to be signing some books on there.
That's great.
This is really hard to ask this way, but did you feel like a piece of meat back in the day?
Yeah, you know, I felt really like, I mean, I kept a journal, you know, of how I felt, and you know, and it was just like, that was like a lethargic way of making me feel a lot better. But I used to, like, you know, I won't say anybody's names, but he came up to me and goes, oh, I had a dream about you last night. And he was one of the road agents, and I was like, oh, really? And he's like, and then he started to tell, I was like, I don't want to hear it, you know, and I just walked away. certain things like that would happen.
So
I mean,
he's
it was just perverts.
He's rude enough to, first of all, do it in the first place, and then he's giving you details.
Yeah,
that's
he wants to
fantastic.
give you details.
That's insane. There's like no respect whatsoever. That's sickening. All right, what else you got?
Well, it's scary.
That's reality, though. Obviously, unfortunately for you. All right.
In your book, you mentioned Jason Harvey, right, from the Wonder
Oh,
Years. You dated
yeah.
him for 2 years. Now, from what I understand, and please correct me if I'm wrong, he was pretty close with Eric Bischoff. They did a lot of producing
Yeah,
together.
they did.
So when this whole thing went down with Eric, right, and WCW, did Jason speak to you about this?
No, Jason and I were already broken up. That's
But I mean,
one of
did
the
you
reasons
remain
why I
friends?
got.
That he maybe...
That's one of the reasons why I got fired from WCW is because me and Jason had broken up, and him and Bischoff were good buddies, and then Bischoff was the boss, and then Bischoff fired me.
So you broke Jason's heart.
Yeah,
And then he went and
then
cried to
Jason, yeah, messed up my career.
He just went and
Dude.
cried.
What would you do if I beat up on you? Are you serious? Wow. I'm never going to watch that show the same way again, you scum fuck. What else we got? Holy shit. That's bad.
But you would, in your book, though, you say Jason was your...
Oh yeah, I
Best
say
boyfriend ever.
I just tried to be nice, and I tried to be the.
Oh,
I
so you
tried to
lied
be
in your
the
book?
upper. What?
You lied in your
No,
book?
Wait a minute,
he was
she
the best
sugarcoated
boyfriend
it.
I ever had. He was the best boyfriend I ever had. He was the best boyfriend. But other than that, I mean, I didn't go into the whole story about that because I didn't want to knock him. I didn't want to say bad things about him.
But so did
So he took a
Jason
wrong turn
Did
somewhere.
Jason have problems with all the wrestlers are big guys, right? Jason is on the smaller end,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So was he
he's-
constantly jealous?
Yeah, and he would say, I would tell him, I go, listen, I go, if anybody says anything about your height, say when I stand on my wallet, I'm 6 feet tall. You know, I mean, that's all you got to say.
There you go.
So what made you break up with him then? If he was such a good boyfriend?
Because he went out on a boat with Byron, a friend of his, and there was some girls on there, and he lied to me about it.
So you just kicked
And
the
then I
kid
couldn't trust him anymore after that.
out. Did he cry?
I don't know if he cried or not. I think he did.
Like a
Yeah.
baby.
And then he became the star of a new show, The Blunder Years, because
Like,
that's a blunder.
Did he
That's
keep calling you like, please take me back?
No, he
Please,
didn't
I'm
do
so
that.
sorry.
I want to speak to Missy.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oy.
I got to tell you, man, you have lived a pretty good life. We'll be right back with the great Missy Hyatt.
Very interesting life. We shall return.
My most favorite part of the show.
No, please
The
don't.
most annoying pro wrestling expert.
Fuck me.
We're gonna play a video from Matt Riddle. Let
What?
you all listen, and then we're gonna put our headphones on.
I don't have that. Go ahead. Tell me how it went.
All right. Well,
All right.
let me
Roll
put
it.
this- I'm gonna give you some headphones. bro.
No.
You can roll it, Matt.
Hit it.
I'm gonna make this quick. I have never in my entire life sexually assaulted a man, woman, or anybody. And that includes Samantha Table, Candy Cartwright. I never sexually assaulted you. The story about that band trip and the driver being asleep and me forcing you to do stuff and hop on whatever is a complete lie. It's a fabricated story because you're still mad. You know why you're mad? Because yes, you're right. We had an affair. You have plenty of evidence of that. And you know what? I never denied it because it happened. Do I want to talk about it? Do I really want to share about it? No. It's embarrassing because I feel like a real piece of crap cheating on my wife and doing that and now having to talk about it publicly. But I have to. We had a relationship. We had a fling. I started to get sad and depressed because I was lying to my wife so much to hide what I was doing. I was lying to all my friends because I didn't want anybody to know. Because it's not something cool. I didn't want to brag about it. I tried to end it. I told my wife about you and us. I tried to end it. I blocked you. I blocked your social media. You then started using messaging apps, and you kept coming. I blocked those. I got a new number. You got my new number and kept messaging me. You literally got on social media accounts for other companies, kept messaging me until I blocked them. Now you have literally started harassing me, showing up to hotels, harassing my friends. Where is he? Where is he? Where is he? At this point, you have to realize if you don't think you're stalking me or harassing me, you're crazy. And if you are at home and you don't think that's harassment, you're crazy. At the end of the day, I'm not perfect. We did have an affair, and I'm not happy about that. But I never sexually abused anybody. I never sexually assaulted anybody. And when I wanted to get out of this relationship, out of this situation, she said no, and she kept pursuing me and harassing me and stalking me. And then when she didn't get her way, she used the Speak Out movement to try to ruin my career. Completely unacceptable. That's all I really have to say. That's the story. Everybody have a great day. Take care. Later.
All right. So you heard Matt Riddle. Farrow, thoughts?
Wow, that's a lot to digest.
Hit you with a good one, right?
Yeah, you did. I have a lot of respect for him to be able to come out and say things the way they were. Doesn't sound like it's a lie at all coming from his end.
Well, let me ask you this question. What did Candy Cartwright... I think this is a couple of years past.
Yeah.
What does she have to gain by lying?
Notoriety. Notoriety, because Matt Riddle is now hitting the zenith of his career. He is now on SmackDown. So she figured that she would just continue and continue and continue and get her name out there. And you know what? She succeeded because we're talking about her. Has she succeeded in the long run? Nope. Is this going to work against her in her career down the road? Yeah, I think so. You'll never see a freaking job in WWE. I'll tell you that. So you might have been, you wanted to try to ruin someone's life because they made a mistake. Well, guess what? They actually owned up to the fact they made a mistake, and now you're all out of ammo. Good luck, Candy Cartwright. See you nowhere.
Oof. Whoa.
Matt Riddle is a great, great talent, and I'm sorry that he did this, but at least he's sorry too, and I thought he handled it with class, don't you?
I thought
he
made the statement that he felt was the truth, right?
Yeah.
With anything,
there is nothing
the truth
worse.
lies
There is nothing worse than
right?
a psycho who won't leave you be. There is nothing worse.
Well, now you're saying that it's a possibility that she's upset that they didn't carry on their relationship.
Why would she continue to torture him?
People get upset.
What is the point of torturing the guy? I
understand.
And I found it hilarious that the second he's on SmackDown, boom, there she is. She's an opportunist.
It's quite the coincidence.
She's vindictive.
Wow.
I don't think it's cool. Well, if it was the other way around, we'd be calling the guy a piece of shit. We would be. So you know what? That's a piece of shit move. That's my opinion.
Well, with that, we'll take a quick commercial break.
Not just dreaming it, we're doing it for real. Straight to the top. Working hard every day just to live out that way.
Who we consider one of the greats of all time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And the one humbling thing about doing the show is you get to meet some of these ladies and gentlemen. And the majority of them turn out to be such wonderful, wonderful human beings.
Can I get this in real fast?
Yes.
This show was created out of the love, the true love for pro wrestling, from two guys who grew up and have known each other for over 40 years, junior high. We genuinely loved it. We used to practice it in the backyard, and I can say with confidence that some of these guys who got supposed real training, you never would have survived what we did to each other on the hard ground in the wintertime in New York back in the day. But this show was based on the love of people like the man who's sitting to our right.
Well,
This was everything that we wanted to have in mind for these kinds of wrestlers.
I
mean, we are blessed.
I also want to say, Pharaoh, it's very humbling to have people watching this show.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Like the Maria Davises
Oh
or
my
like
God.
the Todd B. Crafts,
Oh,
right?
oh my God.
That show the respect and they tune in every week.
Yeah.
And you know what? How many times I say how funny they are and they make me laugh.
Our audience
But anyway,
is
this whole
hilarious.
thing has been a pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely.
But unfortunately, and I'm going to make this
Why
clear.
does there always have to be an unfortunately?
So before I even go to
Here we go.
Before we even go to this, I want everybody to understand that we will question Mr. Atlas.
Okay.
He will answer.
Oh,
Yes.
We will take a commercial break, and then all the fans out there ask whatever you want to Mr. Atlas. He will not deny you the
Awesome.
opportunity to challenge him on anything.
All right.
But allow us to ask these questions, and everybody, there will be other wrestling talk. But first,
Sure.
Tony, in life, you want it to be pleasurable to the best of your ability. But then sometimes it's this rat. It just gnaws at you and nibbles on you, right? And you're sitting on the floor. It's just this rat.
Is it on your toe?
It's
like
nicking
your
at you.
big toe?
And you know, he says things and
No, like flies, you keep swallowing.
like-
they
but
keep
no,
swapping
in a
flies,
portal
they keep
potty?
coming back.
a fly
In a
you
portal
swap
potty.
at. This is
And
a
the fly
this
come
is a
back.
rat.
I know what you're talking
This is
about,
a rat.
yeah.
You know why it's a rat? Because rats steal. Right? Rats take.
Ooh.
They go behind your back. They do all this really, really, really stuff. And
Rat.
again, people don't know me per se, but like we've been invited to come to someone's studio.
Sure.
We come out- The dude doesn't want to meet me in person.
No.
It'll be ugly.
Yeah. Good
Because
Lord.
I am an exterminator. But that's not the point.
Holy raid can, Batman.
Tony.
Next.
You started up with Boston Wrestling.
Okay.
Very entertaining show because of you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
How does it start with Mr. Dan Marotti?
Well, I was home one day and Dan gave me a phone call. And before I say this, I want all the fans to do one thing for me. I want them, not like I say, I don't know all about this technology stuff. I want the fan to get me on the Steve Walker show. You know what Steve does, right?
Shoot.
Yes.
Steve put you on that lie detector machine. Now, the guy that Steve got to do his lie detector, he's the best in the world.
Okay.
He worked for the FBI. He did all this stuff. Lie detector machine.
Right.
You know, 'cause I could say one thing today, somebody else, 'cause I don't have power on the internet. I'm silenced. I can't talk to people on the internet, my Facebook. The only time I could talk or defend myself is when nice people like you come along. So I want to be on the Steve Walker show. So contact Marty and the Pharaoh to get Tony Atlas on Steve Walker show for everything that I'm going to tell y'all now. I want to do it on a live detector machine. That way we know who's lying and who's not lying. This is how it started. Dan called me one day, told me about the program he's trying to put together. He said, "What would it cost to get you down here?" And I said, "Dan, I'm going to try to give you the best deal I possible." I said, "I work for Steve Picard. It was Top Rope Wrestling."
Okay.
I said, "I charge you the same as I charge him." He said, "What did he pay you?" I said, "Give me $450." He go, "Well, can you do it for $200?" I said, "No, I can't do it for $200." He said, "Yeah, but this is the beginning of things. Things will get big, and we're gonna do good, and give me a whole bunch of stuff." My wife is sitting there going, the whole time she's going, "Don't do that."
Okay.
So, Fred, I said, "Dan, can you at least give me $300?" "Well, I know I could do the $200. And my wife going, me being Tony, not too smart, I took the deal. But I said, "Look, I could do it when I got something, when I'm coming through your area." And I got people like MAJ could tell you the same thing.
Okay.
Johnny, I'm going to mess up his name. I call him Callahan, but then the other day he told me it's not Callahan, it's Callahurst.
Okay.
Now, Johnny helped me out a lot. Him and his wife Mary are wonderful people. So y'all want any million billions or autograph picture or anything? In fact, I'm going to drop by on the 27th of this month just to say hi to him. He just told me, I set up something for you to make some money. I said, Johnny, you don't have to do that. He said, no, I want to do it for you. I said, Johnny, you don't have to do that. You ask Johnny. I tell you the same thing. Johnny Callahan, I love him. I had a little, I got drunk one day and hollered at his wife. She got mad at me.
That's a surprise.
But Mary, Johnny, if Mary listens, Mary, I'm sorry that I pulled the ox baker on you, and it won't happen again. If I holler at you again, Mary, slap me. That's what my wife do. Monica would just backhand me when I get too rambunctious with her. But I was drunk as a skirt and holler and hurt her feeling. And I felt bad about that. So I want to take this time first to say I'm sorry to Mary.
There you go.
And I'm going to go by there the 27th to apologize to Mary and to shake Johnny's hand and thank him for everything he ever did for me. He's a great person. John Callahurst of MAJ Collector Talk Game and But anyway, back to the story. You know how I do. I get all off into everything.
Come back.
But anyway,
come back,
Tony.
Anyway, if I had a show, like I live in Maine.
Yeah.
So if I'm driving to New York, that's a 360-mile trip.
Wow.
So I said, well, I got expenses. I got the rental car, I got gas, I got toll, people that travel, I got food. So if somebody offered me $500 in my head right off the bat, I estimate how much it's going to cost me to get there.
Sure.
So if it's going to cost me $200 to get there, somebody give me $500, then I know I'm going to make it $300. To me, automatic, that's not $500 to me. That's $300 because it will cost me $200 to get there. So I said I had to figure out a way of making my expense money.
Mm-hmm.
So I called Dan. I said, yeah, Dan, we could do it when I'm coming through your area.
Right.
But I don't know what happened. He wanted me to come down there when I didn't have nothing. Well, me being me, I did it a couple of times.
Which to defend
$200.
Okay. That
Now,
was your decision. You accepted that.
I accepted that.
That's right.
I made that decision. I accepted it. But then it got to the point, the prices started going up. And I remember one trip, and I told Dan this. I told him many a times. Every time he paid me, I talked to him about it. He just smiled and walked away like I was a piece of shit. And I told him, I said, Dan, you know, it's cost me a lot more to do your show without something to go with it. So then one time I had to go to Pennsylvania. No, Atlantic City, New Jersey, from Mike Hamilton. He runs the showboat in New Jersey, Atlantic City in New Jersey.
Okay.
For me, it's a 6.5 to 7 hour drive. So I said, well, I go down, I do Boston wrestling. Mm-hmm. Then I stay in Boston, because that would take 2 hours. Cause it's a 2 hour drive from me to Melrose. It take me 2 hours of driving. So I said the next day I just got 5 hours to do. So I said, Dan, I come down and I'll do your show. Can you get me a hotel room? Oh, sure, Tony, we get your hotel room. So I drive down. He get the hotel room for me. I went to get my $200. He gave me $55. And I said, what is this for? He said, it's the rest of your pay. He said, I had to deduct your room for your, I took the pay, out of the room. So I said, oh, forget about it. I'm on my way to Atlantic City. The guy in Atlantic City is going to pay me $1,200. Plus, I sell all the gimmicks I want. So I'm looking at, about a $1,500.
But you had just lost almost 3/4 of your intended pay.
Right. So I'm left with $50. But I got a hotel.
And how many hours do you shoot? How many hours do you shoot with Boston
we started
Wrestling?
shooting at 3 o'clock during the day, and we be finished at 9 o'clock. So it's about 6 hours of taping.
So you had to drive for hours to do 6 hours of taping and pay for your own room and get $50, basically.
Yes.
$55.
And this is honest God truth.
Wow.
I wanna
How
be
generous.
Wow. If I could get on Steve Workout, I'm going to tell the same thing. My mother told me one thing. She said, when you tell a lie, you have to tell another lie to cover that one up.
Sure.
Another lie to tell that one. And by the time you get through at the end, you don't know what lie you told.
Yeah.
But when you tell the truth, it comes out the same every time.
Of course.
Every time. Anyway, I got more story.
Go ahead.
Another time, I went down for Dan, and I was trying to help Dan. This was for him. Because I was running late. Because see, what I used to do, I work at a gym in the morning as a personal trainer. I go to the gym at 6 in the morning to train people. I train people from 6 in the morning until 12 o'clock on the days I had to work for Boston Wrestling. I get off work at 12 o'clock. Go get the rent-a-car.
Okay.
Without stopping. And I'm up at 4 in the morning now.
But
so
of
I've been
course.
up since 4 because
Sure.
I got to have breakfast and everything. I'm
Sure.
at the gym from 6 until 12. Then I will go straight to the rent-a-car place, get a rent-a-car, and drive to Melrose. So I'm starving. I ain't eating up there since 4 o'clock in the morning.
And you've had a full day before noon.
Exactly.
Quite honestly.
I don't put in all them hours. So
Right.
I called Dan one day, and I said, Dan, to save you some time, so that we could get started earlier, because you say you got a lot of things to do, so we could start early. I said, can you get one of them kids that work with you to go get me some chicken wings? He said, sure. So I get there, they have my chicken wing. You remember I just sat there eating the chicken wing? The reason I ain't ate them chicken wings that people don't know, I ain't ate all day. And there was no time between, from 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm running. I work a regular job. You know, I'm not rich. I'm a very poor man. So when I get there, Dan go to pay me. He give me $180. I said, Dan, you cut me $20. He said, well, I had to pay for them chicken wings. I didn't say nothing. I'm driving home. My wife would tell me, don't go there no more. He's taking advantage. My wife kept telling me that. She kept telling me.
As a good wife
By the
would
way,
say.
my wife is in the hospital now with a stroke.
By the way, I want to ask
boy.
you, how is Monica
Sorry.
doing?
I talked to her about right before you came to pick me up. She's all happy. She worried about me being in a car accident or something happened to me. She always worried about me. She loved me to death, and I love her the same way. She's the greatest woman in the world. So I get home that day. Then the virus hit. You know, there's other stories to go with that, but I'm just trying to make everything brief.
I want to make something clear here. We're going to get through the whole story. But your wife's ill.
Yes.
Everybody knows this.
Yes.
Now, let me ask you, you know, when you work with someone for a while, do you think you build a friendship with that person?
You would think so.
Okay, but at this point, you're working with Marathi. Did you consider him a friend?
Yes.
So,
Wait a
your wife
minute.
had-
Wait. How? Wait a second. He knows your wife is sick, and this is how he treats you? I
Yes.
just want to make sure I'm getting this clear before I completely fucking explode. But are you serious?
Well, I'm the type of guy.
I mean, what is that though? If he's your friend, then why would he possibly do something like that?
It was a way I was raised. I would go work for a guy. See, I was raised in the country.
can't.
See, y'all city slickers. I'm an old country boy from the hills of Virginia.
We're city slickers.
I
Wow,
would go
interesting.
haul hay for a guy all day long. And at the end of the day, he gave me 4 dozen of eggs.
Right.
It was called horse trading
Right.
in the olden days.
Right.
So I'm used to doing a lot of work and getting a little
Right.
bit back.
I think you're right,
I'm-
Tone. 'cause
yeah,
I'm,
yeah,
I'm not.
because- yeah.
I'm not hauling hay, so I think
It's
I
the
am a
way-
city slicker. Thanks a lot.
Well,
Go on.
Well, it's the way I was raised.
Of
I
course.
got this way. As long as Klondike Bill, you tell me you have to take the big ones with the little ones.
Sure,
And
sure.
I just overlook things. I just let it go. I don't let it interfere with my happiness. I like to be happy.
Tony, it sounds like
know,
you trust people.
When you stop
That's
and
what
think
it comes down
when
to.
you stop and think about it, I started in the 70s.
Right.
How many wrestlers are still active today
Not many.
that started in the 70s?
Right. Not many.
So I feel fortunate. I feel proud to be an American. I just feel proud when I get something. Sometimes what I get makes me happy. Sometimes what I get, it never makes me sad. I never sad. I just get what's called disappointed. So when the virus hit, the studio closed in Boston. The studio closed. So Dan couldn't tape. So he asked me, he said, can we come to your house and tape? So he's going to drive from Melrose up to Maine.
He's like, hey, keep Boston wrestling, keep the wrestlers working, right? Keep them working.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Got to keep them all working.
Keep working. So he drove up to Maine to meet me at my house. I said to myself, I said, boy, that's great. I said, for the first time, when did I first started with them? For the first time, I don't know when I started with Boston Riders, but I said for the first time in my life, Dan gonna pay me what he promised, because I got no expenses.
Okay.
This was gonna be the first time. First time.
There's no gas. There's no hotel. There's
nothing.
No food.
I'm gonna get $200.
Yeah.
For Dad, he got to give me $200.
I
don't have to pay for no rental car. I don't have to pay for no food. I got no expense. I can sit home and make my $200.
This is a slam dunk.
I was happy as a hog in slop.
Right.
Then he paid me.
Around.
Then he paid me $100. I said, whoa. I thought it was $200. I thought it was $200 for the taping.
Did he charge you for his gas to get there?
I don't. He took $100 out, and I asked him. Dan, no, I'm telling the truth. He know damn. I don't care what he tell them Boston wrestling fans.
Right.
He know. He know damn well. I'm telling the freaking truth.
And at this point,
I have no reason to lie. I'm an old man.
Tony, I want to reiterate. During this time,
I'm telling the damn truth.
I want to reiterate.
Defend myself.
At this time, Monica is still in the hospital.
My wife is in the hospital. She's in the hospital, suffering with a stroke.
But you know what? I'm going to defend Dan here. I'm going to defend Dan.
Why?
I'm sorry, Tony. I'm going to have to.
Why? All right,
the guy's using his website, and he's selling your artwork.
Yeah, but he promised me $200.
Okay, but
he promised. Hey, a man is only as good as his word. What my mother taught me.
Imagine that.
Now let me finish the story.
Go ahead.
Let me finish. So he gives me $100 instead of the $200.
I can't believe this guy. Okay.
But being Tony, I said, well, at least I made $100. And this time he paid for my meal and the Corona beer that I was drinking. So I said, well, at least I got a free meal out of him.
And a beer.
And a
Corona beer.
And a beer.
For 6 hours.
It cost me $100.
Chicken wings and a beer, 6 hours.
6 hours.
Good pay.
That's great.
Good.
So finally, the studio opened back up. The studio opened back up.
Okay.
So I drove down. I couldn't get my deal with the rental-car no more. Rental-car went up. So the rental-car was $120 for the rental-car.
Right.
When I add up my expenses, now he's supposed to pay me $200.
Sure.
My expense was $275.
Oh, great. Nothing like losing money.
So now I'm paying out of my pocket. I'm spending money with my wife in the hospital.
Great.
No work.
Great.
Broke, living on Social Security. I'm a senior citizen, so I live off of Social Security. So then, now I'm spending $75. I'm paying to work to be on his program.
You're paying.
So I said, Dan, I can't keep doing it. He said, well, I can get you some more money. I said, well, how you gonna do that? So he started soliciting me to do artwork for him.
So he's gonna make it up to you. I'm gonna get you artwork.
Right, get me artwork. But what you don't understand, I still got to do the work.
Of course.
I mean, it ain't like I got a machine to run off artwork.
Right.
It takes me a week to do one of them artwork.
Of course.
It's a week.
That's your
So
timetable.
I work all week. Dan charged them $175. I get $100.
Wait a minute. Hold on. This is my first time hearing that. You charge $175.
Right.
And Dan,
give me $100.
Percentage-wise,
he takes almost. It's getting close to half.
If Dan takes 75, you charge.
He's getting 100. He's taking close to half.
Dan's
reasonably
taking
close.
40% for what?
For getting me to work.
Oh, so he's getting you to work.
Right.
So it's a 40%.
Right. And so when I come down, instead of giving me, if I do two artwork, instead of giving me 200, give me 400. If I do one artwork, he give me 300. He give me the 100. He said, see, I told you I make you more money. I said, that's okay. Then one Christmas, he come around with this paper. He want me to sign these letters. I said, what these letters for? He said, always it help you and wrestlers to make some money. He started soliciting money, had people to send in money to help me to pay my rent.
To pay your rent?
Yeah, to pay my mortgage.
Oh, okay.
I never saw a penny of it.
What?
Yeah, he would use me to solicit money from people. He pocketed the money.
Do you have any idea how much he accumulated?
No. One guy told me.
You know what that is?
Fraud. There was a buddy of mine that told me at a convention. He said, "Hey Tony, I see you was having problems with Dan trying to help you to get around." He said, "You got $400 or some dollars, in the that."
Hey, I donated to you, brother. I'm here to help you. Your wife's in the hospital, bro.
Yeah.
I donated to Boston
So I
Wrestling
said,
$400.
I never seen none of that money. Where
You didn't see anything.
Not a freaking penny. So finally,
Wow.
I was talking to some people when when the corona hit. Everything got canceled. Mm-hmm. So a buddy of mine named Larry Huntley, he said, "Tony, you should get on Facebook."
Okay.
He said, "You could sit home if you need to make for what this guy pay you. You could make more money sitting home."
That's right.
So one day I kept brushing him off. Finally, I said, "Okay, let's do it." So I went out, bought me a little laptop. Went to Verizon. Got my Facebook account and everything. Mm-hmm. And me and old Larry Huntley, he runs wrestling. In fact, I'm wrestling for Larry Huntley at the Skowhegan Fair.
Okay.
And Larry started helping me, and he drive 50 miles. He lived 50 miles from me. But because me and Larry been friends from, back since the 90s, he drives up, and I tried to give him money for gas. He wouldn't take it. So what I do, I would buy him food and do what I can to help Larry and everything. And so we did a virtual sale. I did one virtual sale. Hell, I made $700.
Hello. Hello.
I gave Larry $100.
Maybe there's something to this Facebook.
I gave Larry $100, and the two people he brought with me, I gave everybody $100. Okay. I made $400. I didn't even have to leave my room. Took me 1 hour to do it. Wow. I said, shit.
Yeah, huh?
Going to Boston Wrestling, I make freaking $100 if I'm lucky. And it's a 10-hour day. See, it's 2 hours driving, 6 hours of taping,
of course,
and a 2-hour drive back.
Nice.
So the day for me, the day went from 1 to 11.
Right.
I leave my house at 1 o'clock. I get home at 11 o'clock.
Right.
Sometime 11:30, depending on the traffic.
Gotcha.
It was a full, it's 11-hour day for me. So I said, I did it on January the 15th. I'm sitting there, I'm eating my chicken wing. Dan is doing a virtual now. He don't start doing virtual selling with my artwork and stuff. So I'm sitting there eating. I said, Dan, I'm getting me a computer. Yeah, Dan, you can watch his tape. If he got that tape, you can see it on tape. He got this tape. He's doing a virtual. I said, Dan, I'm getting my computer. I don't want to sell on your virtual. I'm going to be doing my own virtual. Ignore me. So then he called for the thing. I said, I'm not working for you no more. And that's what happened. Okay. Now I hear from people. Dan been texting me and emailing me. I mean, not email, but been texting me. I gave Marty one of them. I've been deleting them.
So Tony, I want to alert the fans out there. So when this went on, you and I, we spoke on the phone. Hey, what's up? You told me the story. I said, good for you. Do you end your relationship with him? Just do you. Take care of yourself.
Absolutely.
And that's what you did.
Yeah,
that's right.
So J12 says out there, what's the end game for us?
For us?
So, hold on.
Okay. The end game?
So
this is not a game.
When you said, hey, yeah, cool, I'm just doing me, and you disappeared, you didn't bother with the guy, and he kept texting you.
I left him alone.
And then I didn't really know much about Boston Wrestling. And then all of a sudden I'd hear this guy talking trash about you. Now, I didn't like it. So we asked you to come on. Remember, you called in. And you were nothing but a professional. You didn't badmouth him, even though he claims we tried to bait him in.
I have no hard feelings with that. I just don't want to work for him no more. That's it.
So
I don't want nothing to do with him. That's it.
Again, this continues on.
Simple.
And then recently, something happened with Marty Jannetty.
Right.
And then you alerted to me other videos with Kamala talking about what and this.
Sure.
And I said, you know what? I'm not going. So I'm going to go back. I'm not going to sit here. I consider Jannetty a friend.
Sure.
I consider Mr. Atlas a friend.
Of course.
I'm not going to let this shit go on anymore. I will use this program to stop this nonsense. He could have just left you alone. And there's nothing would have gone on.
He won't do it.
But instead, he still talks about you.
7 months, brother. 7 months. Every other day I get a threat. You know what he's threatening to do with me now? Take a guess.
What's he threatening to do?
He want to report me to the IRS so they stop, so he could so they stop saying he want to take away my Social Security check.
Because he's mad that he can't underpay you and overwork you?
The only income I got is my Social Security check, and because I want work for Dan Marella, he wanna. I showed him because I knew y'all gonna call me. Dan gonna call me a liar. I knew that because he done that before.
He called you a thief on the last video I saw with Cena Senior just 2 days ago.
I knew
3 days ago, whatever the fuck it was.
I knew from before when people asked me why did I stop, and I told them the truth. Dad went on and called me a liar. He made fun of me. He said stuff like, "Now who would work for $50?" That was pouring salt in the room because I done that.
You did
it.
I did it. Right. Now I'm really feeling like
outrageous.
Now I'm really feeling like a fucking idiot. This guy fucked me up the ass and don't even give me a kiss. And then he gonna. I hope I didn't say nothing wrong.
Absolutely not.
No. And I said enough is enough. I don't want nothing to do with him. I don't want nothing to do with him.
Well, how does it make you feel
now,
when you're on that show?
He's going out to my look. If I'm such a horrible person, if I'm so horrible, if I'm stealing from you, if I'm lying about you, why in the effing hell are you playing my tapes? When Vince McMahon get rid of somebody, he don't keep showing their matches. Why is I'm on Boston frickin' Wrestling? Why? Why you showing my tapes? Why are you selling my tapes if I'm such a horrible piece of crap? I wouldn't sell the tape of no horrible piece of crap. I wouldn't sell the tapes of a liar. I wouldn't sell the tapes of a thief. Now I'm a thief. Now he's going out to my freaking Social Security.
He ain't going.
That's all I got left. Damn, what do you want me to do? You want my freaking Social Security check? You want my Social Security check now? What? 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 Are you gonna take my Social Security from me? I worked 60 fucking years for that Social Security check. Are you gonna take it? And all them black ass people that supporting you for my Social Security check? Why? You never took a fucking bump in your life. You never did nothing for this business except for sucking like a fucking leech. I tried to ignore you, man. I left you alone. Why you can't leave me alone? What do you want me to do? Come down there and beat your crippled ass into Bolivia? You cannot whoop my ass, boy. I would beat the living dog shit out of you.
Tony, take a break. We're going to take a commercial break. We're taking a commercial break.
We'll be right back, guys.